Our next talented presenter is Naïma Ben Ayed. Ayed. I said Ayed. Naïma grew up in a French and Tunisian family. She is an independent type graphic designer based in London, UK. She works with and within and between the Arabic and Latin scripts, creating retail and custom typefaces, lettering, and visual identities. She leads workshops attempting to connect type design with storytelling and language. She also takes part in initiatives that contribute to opening up the discipline of type design to broader audiences. Please help me welcome Naïma Ben Ayed.
Hello, bonjour, marhaba. I forgot I would be introduced, so I don't need to do it again. I will just say one more thing about this slide is that I was born and raised in France with Tunisian heritage, and France has colonial history, and it has important Arab and Arab descent community of about 6 million people, I think, which makes Arabic the second language in France. Yet at school they would rather teach you Latin language than Arabic. So those questions of dynamic and hierarchy between identities and languages have been long-lasting obsessions. I started my career, my type design career at Daltomag, which is a corporate type design studio in London. And I was involved in many multi-script typefaces. And in the corporate world, multi-script is a very Latin-centric process. And we could say that more than multi-scripts, it's matching Latin type families. I started my independent practice in 2019, and where I'm able to work on typefaces and approaching multi-scripts on different terms. This is the last version of the project that Huda showed this morning from typographic matchmaking, one of the version only, one of the styles. I'm also a graphic designer, and I like to define my practice as telling story with letters, as letters take center stage in my work. I also do a lot of workshops, and I'm not an educator per se. Like, I teach either as a guest lecturer in universities, but often in independent platforms. As a designer, sometimes it's Latin type, sometimes it's Arabic type, sometimes it's both together. And it's during one of those workshops, the one in the middle, that we did with Huda and Khat Foundation and Khajag at Tashkil in Dubai, that we started talking with Khajag about teaching and methodology, and especially how do we fit type design in such small time frame of few days, few hours. But before to go back to this, I want to mention one thing that happened in between this workshop in Dubai and the project with Khajag is a fellowship that I attended with Futurist, which is a platform for design politique, a queer and feminist platform for design politique. If you don't know it, I highly recommend to go read a lot of the articles that they publish. And the goal of this fellowship was to write an article, and that was my opportunity to write about multi-script type design and put all my thoughts in it. And because I didn't want this article to focus on the negatives of multi-script, I wrote this article in the shape of an imaginary curriculum of what I would put if I had the opportunity to teach multi-script far from the institutions, far from the schools, and far from the corporate world. So I'm going to simply introduce a few modules that I came up with. And to illustrate them, I will show some workshops that kind of relate to the topic for you to get a sense of what it could mean visually. And this is just to give you a snippet of this curriculum. So the first chapter, making and reviving the archive, we start with a research module on collecting multi-script letters. So it will be a collective research of constituting archive. And in this archive, it could be graphic archives, but not only. It could also be signage. It doesn't have to be type, and it doesn't have to be printed. It could be signage from all over the Arab world with Latin and Arabic, beautiful, ugly, clumsy, but that says something about script cohabitation. And part of this archive could also be handwritten letters. This is letters from my family from the 60s, and they are also multi-script letters. The design module of this chapter would be type design as revival. And to illustrate it, I will show a workshop that I ran at ESAV school in Marrakesh, where the students started from a graphic archive with a lettering, and the idea was to extract the parameters, the characteristic of this lettering, and create a digital version of it with a different word, and use this as a starting point to create a Latin lettering. But here the Latin is a subaltern, so we're changing the narrative of multi-script starting from the archives. And then the students created posters, and here are some more work where you can see on the left the poster from the archive, and on the right the poster from the students. And here type design become a process of like archiving, but also like reviving the archive, in the sense that those letters and those typefaces can be reused in nowadays. Okay, second chapter, multi-script histories, and the research module first will be a more like historical and political research on multi-script, and I called it Undoing Colonialism and Typography. And to illustrate what I mean by that, I will talk, for example, about Tunisia. When Tunisia became independent, the constitution said that the official language was Arabic, and then the city of Tunis in 1957 published this municipal order, which says that basically any commercial signage in the city of Tunis should be bilingual, if not only in Arabic, but Arabic should always be there, and that the Arabic sign should be at least as big as the Latin, if not bigger. And this signage should be approved by an affiliated calligrapher. So the idea of this research would be to dig in exactly that. Like, can we look at a nation becoming independent through typography? And what does that look like? Can we find archives of this? Yeah. So now the more like, sorry. What I wanted to add is that from this research, there will be a collective reflection, and putting in parallel the research with the contemporary typographic landscape of a city, a country, and have a discussion on like what are the languages used on commercial signs today, and what are the hierarchy between them. Still in this chapter, but this time the design module will be an opportunity to approach multi-script from like personal experience, multilingual being, multi-script being. And I think this is very suitable for non-designer, non-type designer. And to illustrate, I will show a workshop that I did at Chaumont. This is the work of artist Ava, who is Iranian Swedish. And the idea of this workshop was to choose a word that is from like an Arabic word, for example, in her case, an Iranian word that is used in a Latin language, and find example of words that bridge those two scripts, and make a lettering of it that expresses this bridge. And so again, she's Iranian Swedish, and the word seshwarat is coming from seshwar is a word that they use in Farsi, and that actually comes from French, and she applied to this word Swedish grammar, and it's something that she was doing a lot as a kid to navigate this sort of multiple identities. And then each attendee wrote a text about the story of their words. Solène, who is French-Lebanese, she worked on Haiki Fixava and working on the connectedness of the letters. Sarah and Hugo, they worked on a song. And then all these words came together in a zine that we printed. Okay, so that is it for the curriculum, and it's not published yet, but it's coming soon on Futures. And now I'm gonna go back to the project with Khajag, which happened mostly online because 2020. And to give a frame to our reflection on Arabic type design pedagogy, we applied to School of Commons, which is a platform, a supportive platform for artists and designers who come together and we meet online. There are some milestones that are helping us frame the year together. And I will start by giving a definition of commoning, which I'm not quite sure is a true word or not, but it's really what we are doing. And so the first thing we did with Khajag was commoning our experiences as both designers and educators. And again, because Khajag is been teaching type design in an elective course, so also with important time constraints. And we are both in this challenge of how do you fit type design in smaller formats, and we exchange about our practices, if we start from the script and writing, or if we start from an archive and existing letters. And we talked about all the different challenges that we meet, that the students meet in general. And an early one is distinguishing lettering and type. A lot of attendees come to those workshops expecting to draw letters, and then actually when they understand what type design is, it's not that fun anymore. When you start from observing calligraphy, it's quite a challenge to make that transition from calligraphy to type, and particularly for translating the proportions of the letters, and then adapting connections with the constraint of the software, and also deciding on a concept when you are a novice to type design and you are here just for a short time. It's not that easy to truly grasp what all those parameters are, and I think getting what they are is one thing, but then sort of really own them and play with them is another thing if you want to include many of them. And of course, completing a typeface is the most challenging thing in those small formats. And then we also talk about the pedagogy that works. So starting by introducing the different styles from solid to fluid, and showing the students the variations of parameters of the letters. Then drawing the skeleton, and then start sketching and going from letter to words and balancing the white space, bringing definition to the shape, etc. Where is Hala? Hi. This is an example of giving a skeleton, like a very unprecise skeleton, to the attendees of the workshop, so they can then play with the parameters a lot more without worrying about proportions. And this has been a successful trial, and we thought, okay, maybe next time we can also give a full skeleton and start with that. But again, time constraint is our biggest challenge always, also because students are working individually on their projects. So one possibility in a short format is to draw a typeface collectively. And I will show an example of a workshop where I did that. And it was 3 days workshop. And the attendees really came together to understand and make something. And basically, instead of like presenting them the different parameters, the type parameters, they each had a different typeface on a sheet of paper with all the letters. And by group of 2 or 3, and again, like the typefaces were really different in terms of weight, etc. They had to like write words with those different typefaces to understand what needs to be harmonious in terms of to make it work. And so they were able to name, okay, the style, the proportions, the weight, the contrast, and then we focused on those parameters that they had defined and understood. Then we assigned letters to the attendees, and they came up with a simple brief, and based on that brief, we draw a grid that will have the height of the aleph, the thickness of the baseline, and then a very low ascending line for the letter with a big belly, like the Ain. And then we define the thinnest and the thickest point. Then they started drawing, and each step will put everything on the wall, look at it all together, give feedback, how to make improvement, and then go back to drawing. And same thing when we move to digital. And I must say that I was so very quickly we had all the letters, and I have to say that I was the one assembling their different letters, and to not waste too much time like talking about the connection and the side bearings, etc. I was showing them live on my computer on the screen like how the things work, and so they made this typeface in 3 days. The goal was to meet again and refine it and then use it as a base for more variation, but again, COVID. Okay, so the next step in our commoning program was to opening up to more designers, more educators, more type design students, and to discuss and ask questions about their journey to Arabic type, and how the challenges that they faced. And a big one was the access to resources, of course, and the lack of feedback and community. Like it seemed that all the people we talked to, and also based on our experiences, it felt a bit of a lonely journey to find informations and etc. Then we talked a lot about what we are doing with Yara, and trying to define what it is in terms of which audience are we doing this for. Is it type design pedagogy for for graphic designers? Is it type design for people outside of graphic design schools, because they are not that easy to access? And slowly what started to come up was really this idea that there is a lot of initiative and knowledge in the making, and there is this sort, fluid movement of knowledge, and that maybe it's about creating opportunity for this for them to meet. And we were thinking, okay, where do we put all of those things? Which platform that already exists can we collaborate with? And or can it be across platforms, research and meeting? And then we started to think, but what about wider platform like that? If we think about radical access, like, can we, write on Wikipedia what, like, Arabic type design process, and make it accessible in Arabic, in Farsi, in Urdu? Can we provide Google Sheets, one of those that says anyone with the link can open, where we list everything that is available online, free to access? And can we put can we put everything that we know and that is out there, like, in one place, and just widely share it, and people can contribute and make it grow in their own time? So looking at Wikipedia, these are some of the things that we think can be easily updated or added. Now I've started to dig into it, and it's not that easy to make a new entry in Wikipedia, but editing a text that is already there is easier, and Arabic typography definitely needs some work. So if anyone wants to take that on. And then things like listing all the schools and workshops where you can access Arabic type design. And Linktree, again, everything that is online that we can regroup, because there are a lot of people who are interested in Arabic type design who are doing those lists anyway on their own, and I keep giving them to students, but we could also just share a link where everything is there. And then YouTube, because we thought that a lot of those exercises that we do during workshops could also be a 5-minute tutorial accessible on YouTube that anyone who wants to give it a go can try. And if you have yourself a workshop that has a nice, easy formula that could fit in that sort of format, that could also be there. The idea is that this will not be about our work, but as open as possible with the work of many people. I'm gonna leave it there. So basically, we need your help.